Well, I wanted to hear a little bit more about the earlier years of when you first started getting into music production, and maybe just out of curiosity, what were maybe some of your other focuses at that time, but it sounds like you're saying has it always been a part of your life even since you were really young?
Yeah, I owned a record store in Ann Arbor. It was just jungle and independent hip hop, and then the type of jungle that I liked stopped getting made, so me and my friend Tad decided to just make our own that sounded like how we wanted it to sound. So we started a label, and just made a release and just sold it at my store, but it was successful, so started making a bunch, and then Reflex, Aphex Twins label, picked it up and started doing like some compilations and stuff with that. And then at the same time I was making a little bit of house stuff. But just, I never would send anything out, just people would come over, and like a friend of mine that had a label in Detroit, Brian Gillespie, he put out some of the early house stuff just under Todd Osborn. And then I was also making booty stuff for Disco D. But then he moved, that's when he got some deal and went to New York and did some stuff, so I put it out under Starsky and Clutch on Database instead, so there's a bunch of booty stuff like that. Or Ghetto Tech now it's called. It used to just be called booty music. But yeah, I had that record store, and I was kind of making music, on the side, and I don't know, it just became, the record store wasn't such a big deal anymore, and I was doing fine making just music at home. And I was like, I could just sit at home and not even open this record store and deal with anybody at all. So I usually don't want to deal with any people ever, so I was like, I can just stay home with my kids or something. That seems better.
Yeah.
But then, once I started doing it, I didn't want to just sit home and just make music. That seems dumb. So, yeah, just still doing other stuff on the side, but still getting some money. And then, I did like radio shows and stuff like that, and all sorts of stuff. I was involved with that. I still am involved with like that Red Bull Music Academy thing since almost from its conception, like every year, being like the studio team, one of the main guys that are, like, I'll build some of the main studios and help the participants in the studio doing stuff, but been doing that forever. But yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff that's kind of related to music in some way, and I don't know.
With Ghostly, were you doing that with Red Bull, or that was just...
No, they just asked... No, they asked me to come speak at one really early one, and then stuck around and like helped some kids out, and they're like, oh, you should come back and do this. But like when it was really early, and like now it's like a huge thing. I'm still involved doing stuff. I set up the whole Detroit one, like all the people speaking that was here, and that was like a smaller thing, but it was a good, trying to get some deep people, not like I don't know,
ego boosting kind of folk.
Yeah, not just the, yeah, exactly, yeah. Try to be too nice on the mic.
Well, so it sounds like after you closed that record shop, was it primarily freelance work that you were doing in terms of music, and both outside of music and your engineering?
It was just, if anybody came to my house, I never sent stuff out. So if someone would come to my house, like Sam would come to my house, or Brian, or Sam was like shopping at my record store first, and he heard stuff. I introduced him to Tad that's how that all started. But yeah, he heard some of my records for that Brian Gillespie guy. He's like, oh, you making some house stuff? I would like some of that house stuff. I'm like, well, come over and hear it and see if there's something you want. But yeah, and even stuff like I did records for like Running Back in Germany, and that guy owns that, is one of the journalists for Red Bull, the main music academy. So I just met him through that. He heard stuff, and I was like, in person I'll show you some stuff, but not like sending out demos to labels. It was just like more personal connections.
Well, do you feel like that's a big part of, I assume it would be how you've gotten to movement, and it's just through the
I was doing stuff here, like I
done?
was talking with those Hex computers. I was doing stuff down here before, and I'd do like it was kind of supposed to be live, And me and Tad were doing more stuff together then. So like he was playing on one thing and I was playing here. And then when he got done with his early, so he came over and put his computer together with mine and joined forces. I've played here a few times, just under different names every once in a while. Or I'll play under even the thing there. Like they're probably expecting more ghostly house stuff, and I'm playing like all acid and stuff. Whatever. Yeah. It's a techno festival. You're supposed to play techno.
Yeah. Hey, it's Detroit techno.
Yeah.
We need more of that here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you're pretty content with everything where you're at. Do you have any aspirations?
Yeah, it's not like the right.
future?
Yeah, it wouldn't be. My story's not a good one to tell some kids because it's just like accident stuff, and I'm not probably doing. Kids that are looking for advice are people that probably want like, how do I make a career out of it? Because they wouldn't be asking for advice or something, like how to make a career.
I think it's not about that. It's just about hearing the different stories of different artists who have found themselves at this festival and the variety of paths that people can take, because it's been quite diverse, and what people have, gone through in their lives of,
Well, then I can be an inspiration.
I think it's.
They can be like, this guy didn't even do much of anything, and he got there. So
well,
I could
exactly.
do that.
I mean, a lot of these people, I think their stories have been very relatable. And they have been accessible, and I think that's really, that's,
No, I know they're accessible. I just mean like with the outcome of what some people might be wanting. If they look for advice in a certain area. Like if you're like, how do I get this certain job or something in this office? Like what college should I go? Like that type of thing. And you're kind of talking to someone that's just like, I don't know, I got this job and let's just do some stuff, and I didn't go to that. I don't know.
Well, when you're too specific with the kind of answers you're looking for, the kind of questions you're asking, sometimes you gotta be open to more broader paths and directions and ways to get places.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to say before you go on that note?
No, nothing.
Anything you want to say to those people out there who don't know what they're doing?
Oh, that's good. Some interesting. Some of the most interesting stuff comes from people that don't know what they're doing. And
I can agree with that.
Helps me. That's why I like that music academy at Red Bull. Sometimes I get burnt out doing something, or just not be like creative. You meet some new kids that just, you show them some equipment, they don't know what to do with it, but they're using it in a different way that you never thought of. You're like, oh yeah, you could do that. Or you hear them making some music that, like, oh, I want to go home and make a version of that. Like that's interesting. So, yeah, if they don't know what they're doing, that's good. You can get rid of all these old people in the techno scene. Do something fresh.
I suppose as long as you have that curiosity to propel you forward.
Yeah,
if you don't know what you're doing, you're fine.
Yeah, it's cool when you see like kids doing their own scene they're not looking like no mentors have to be involved. They're like, I'm doing my own thing, and I know I like this, and whatever, I'm just doing my thing. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, guys, do that, and girls.
All right, Todd.
Okay.
AKA Thanks. Osborn. This is 89.1 WIDR Kalamazoo. Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome.